Alrighty, we are live on the Ugly Mug Facebook page. Hey everyone, if you're tuning in live or if you are going to tune in and watch this later, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Today we are interviewing a good friend of mine from Michigan, Miss Cindy Brown. She is the Vice President of Talent Initiatives for The Right Place. And The Right Place is an economic development organization in West Michigan that connects businesses with the resources that they have there in Grand Rapids, really focusing on growing the Grand Rapids economy, providing jobs for all the people who live there. And so I thought, what better person to interview today than Cindy to talk about hiring during these times, what people who have maybe been laid off, furloughed, lost their jobs, what they can be doing right now. So Cindy, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Hannah. I wish it was on different terms, but thank you for having me because I think there's a lot of really good information that we'll be able to share today.
Awesome. Me too. So first thing that I want to dive into here is, how are you seeing companies, now I know that this is different all over, but how are you seeing companies adjust their hiring practices during this time?
Right. So we're into about I think it's week 4 with our executive order of being home. Stay safe, stay home, stay safe, or executive order. And so West Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, very manufacturing focused. So we've got manufacturers that are pivoting, and maybe they were tier 1, tier 2 companies working with the automotive or office furniture or whatever it was, that are now starting to make some of the PPE, the personal protection equipment. So they've been pivoting. So they maybe have half staff on board right now. They've got people that might have been furloughed right at the beginning, but now they're back to work once they've figured out all the diagnostics they needed to make that switch over. So it's been really it's kind of a wait and see, but then also they're trying to be proactive with it. And so you've got our entry-level folks that are helping produce the product, but then there's also those professional individuals that are working from home. So we've got our manufacturers. We also have a big healthcare industry here. We have tech, we have office furniture, we have consumer goods. And so as you can imagine, our consumer goods are just going through the roof with their business. So they're constantly hiring. Their business is crazier than it's ever been right now. They're hiring for seasonal temporary positions right now, yet they still have those professional positions too. So it's a combination of a little bit of everything. We're seeing that there are professional positions that are still posted. There's a lot of positions that are still posted. It's maybe going to take a little bit longer for those to get hired and onboarded because choices have to be made. Are you going to, if the position is going to be filled for, let's say, a June 1st start date, will we be back to work by then, or allowed to be back to work physically in offices? Or will we have to do these onboardings virtual? So they're being proactive, yet there's still a little bit of wait and see.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to tell, especially with every state doing their own individual thing. I know the situation in Michigan is different than it is in Louisiana, is different than it is in California. Right. So I can definitely understand why some people are having hiring freezes right now, or just kind of putting positions on hold for now, knowing that they will need to hire for them in the future.
Correct.
So I feel like furloughed, that is a term that I keep hearing like every other day. I know people personally who have been furloughed from their jobs, whether it's temporary or permanent. Can you explain to us what furloughed means?
Yeah, so it's basically a temporary layoff. Okay, so furlough comes way back in the military. Airlines would furlough people, and really the idea is a temporary layoff where our employers want our people back. They want their people back. Yeah. So it's less than 120. They're hoping that they'll be back to work within 120 days, and that's really what that. And you can do both those, the temporary layoff and the furlough, and really, the goal of any employer is to get their people back. They don't want to have to go through these, but they want to make sure that they're doing it right for their employee, but then also being able to have the business so that the business is around once we are able to get back to work and continue. So we're seeing a lot of employers do that temporary layoff or that furlough because they want those employees to actually be able to come back. Now, there are companies that they're struggling and they're not able to do that, so they actually had to lay people off. And we're hoping then that we're able to help get those individuals the opportunity, let them see the opportunity. Yes, there's the unemployment that they can get in that, but there's also some of those short-term temporary positions that are available right now too, if they do want to get out and actually work. So.
Yeah. So for those professionals who have been permanently laid off, they've lost their job entirely, I really want to kind of give those people who are tuning in some tips, some actionable steps, some things that they can be doing during this time, because it's a stressful time for a lot of people. I think on our page, we've really kept things positive. We want to keep things, proactive. Here are things that you can be doing. And we've really been talking to the person who's working from home. But the reality is there's a large population of people who are just at home right now. They are not from home. So I really want to speak to that audience now, those professionals who are just at home right now.
Right. And there's a couple different aspects to this too. There's the people that have been in a career and they're laid off right now, or they're out of work, or their positions were terminated. There's also our students that should be graduating in another week or so, that are going to be graduating, looking for that first opportunity, as well as some college students that are looking to intern. So the overall message is, number one, is you got to have hope. You got to be positive. We will get out of this. I was on a call yesterday with all the career directors from the colleges in Grand Rapids doing a workshop. And one person said he's been through three. He's been through three different slowdowns. Now this one's different, right? But we can also use the examples of things that we did in the past. I was actually laid off 11 years, or my position was eliminated 11 years ago during that time. And I can tell you, you have to, number one, you have to be positive. You treat it, any job search, anytime as a job. But you have to do it really smart, and you have to be smart about it. You have to have a little bit of patience, because as employers are slowing down their hiring process a little bit, if you apply, you're not going to hear right away. You have to understand that. But then also is, it gives you a time to come up with a routine to try to find a job. And if you have that time, I know all of us we've all said, and myself too, as long as I've been in my job, man, I wish I had time to do this. Mm-hmm. And this is a good opportunity. This is sometimes a positive for people, that when you do get a layoff, or even the new people coming in through to the work world, here's a time for you to, am I doing what I really want to do? Are there skills that I have that can be used elsewhere? And there are so many resources out there. There's ONET, which is national, that can kind of give you an idea. If I have these skills, this is what I could be doing for a job. There's the colleges, the resources that the career centers have put together is just amazing to me. Number one, all of our career services are working remotely, so that they can still do face-to-face, Zoom or whatever, with their students and their graduates. But they're offering different ways of setting up how to do a virtual interview, how to do a resume. So taking advantage of all that free stuff. If you wanted to learn a new skill, if you wanted to learn something else, I'm seeing free Excel training, free Word training, PowerPoint training. If there's something that you've always wanted to do, here's some time now for you to schedule 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, this week, to start learning something new to help keep your skills up to date. And then also maybe enhance some of the skills that you've had. So there's some really good tips that are out there to number one, be positive through this. It's going to be hard. I've been there. I understand it, but keep that routine. Keep that flow. Get dressed in the morning. It doesn't always have to be the full thing. You can have shorts on, but still dress whatever you feel comfortable on, that you feel that professionalism as you're going through your day. And then take advantage of resources, networking. I love LinkedIn. It's a great resource, but also you have to understand right now you're competing you're competing with people that are maybe financial salespeople. I'm getting requests 20, 30 a day from financial salespeople that they want me to change my finances today. And they're trying to, connect with me on LinkedIn and that. So as a candidate, if you reach out to somebody, just please have a little patience, because those of us that are still working, that are working remotely, we're doing business differently than we've ever done as well. And so we may not have our routine figured out yet. So have a little patience with us. We'll get back with you. And that's, I guess, is reach out to mentors. If you don't have a mentor, find a mentor, someone that you can run some stuff by, just to make sure you're on the same, maybe on the right way of thinking with your job search.
Yeah, I love that. I love you said to treat this time as if it's a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that's really important, because I think even as someone who does still have a job, who is working from home, finding that routine is challenging. Like before we hopped on live, you were like, I'm sitting at my dining table.
Exactly. And
I don't have an office at home. And so, where am I going to work? I know you said your husband is home too. My fiance's home, navigating that.
Right. Exactly.
With each other 24/7, and your routine at the end of the day, even when you're done job searching or when you're done working, I'm in my home 24/7 now.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
what does the end of the day look like for me? How do I mentally transition from work Hannah or job search Hannah, or whatever it may be, into, okay, I'm at home now. I can relax. I can turn on Netflix.
Exactly.
Do whatever and to just unwind from the day.
Yeah, when I was laid off 11 years ago, my brother, 17 months older, I look up to him like crazy. He owns his own business. Every day he called me up and said, "You get something yet?" And I was like, "No, not yet. And I'm trying. And here's all the steps I've been doing, and finally, after like 3 weeks, I just said, "All right, you don't have to ask me that. All right, just know that I'm working. And if I will tell you, and I will give you something, ideas of what I've been doing." And it's different than 11 years ago, because now we have all these great tools online. But the recommendation I had from someone was get a 3-ring binder. And a little bit different now. You can do that online on OneNote or whatever choice you use. But the company that you're applying for, make sure you have their information there. Make sure you have the job description. Make sure you have the resume you sent, because some people send multiple resumes or different resumes. Make sure you have that. Highlight what caught your eye about that job description. What are the things that you believe you can do very well for that company? Have all of that there, because just like you said, Hannah, we're in our houses all the time. And when the phone does ring, we're scrambling. We're like, oh my gosh, someone wants to talk to me, right? And if it's a company that I just applied for, you want to have your stuff ready. So yes, I'm using the dining room table, but now this is where my office is. And I'm here when I need to be at the office, and then I'm there when I don't need to be. So have that stuff ready, so that if someone does call you, then you can just say, "Can I have 1 second?" Get your notes and be ready, so that you can have that great conversation with them, because you don't want to miss that. Right? You don't want to miss it. And another thing is, if you are shopping or working out or something, don't take the phone call. They're going to leave you a message. Don't take the phone call. Be ready, and then, be dressed, and be ready to go in case it is a virtual call.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's kind of another important point too I want to touch on, is you said your brother would call you and check in on you and see how you're doing. And this can be a really isolating and challenging
absolutely.
time for people. And especially if they've lost their job, they've never experienced it. And no, you may not need to call them every day and ask them how the job search is going, but it's still so important to check on your people. Make sure that they're doing okay, as often as they welcome, or as often as you feel is needed for those people, because it is, a really, really hard time. We've been challenging ourselves as an office to just connect with as many people as possible. Like now is the time. If you didn't think you had time to connect and be on LinkedIn or just touch base with people, you have it now.
Exactly. And that it's so important. We have about 35 people, I think it is, at our office. And we've got people that are recent college graduates, all the way up to that's been in the business for 30 some years. And I have my struggling. I had the last 2 days, I struggled after work. I didn't do anything after work. And I just tried to not think, because I'm thinking all the time. And these virtual meetings while they're great, they're constant, right? And so you're always on, I worked at Disney, so you're always on stage. And that's hard, even if you're an extrovert or an introvert, then you have to have that time to be able to decompress a little bit. And the last 2 nights I have decompressed, and that's it. And that's over now, right? That's it. That's not going to happen again. I have to set my routine and get back into it to make sure that I'm working out, make sure that I'm going outside. Vitamin D is probably one of the best things we could get right now. And even in Michigan, where we had snow yesterday morning, you can still go out for a walk, right? You still go out for a walk. So you have to make sure that you're checking in with the people that are your mentors, people you mentor, people that you work with. Just take 10, 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be a half hour. It doesn't have to be an hour. You can take 10, 15 minutes and jump on a quick call and just say, how are you doing? And just listen. That would change somebody's whole mentality for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you hopping on a call with me today.
This has been great. This has been great.
Yeah, I love chatting with you and catching up before we hopped on live, and just really appreciate your time. And I love your message of positivity. We definitely need to stay positive during this time. This will not last forever. It is going to end. We are going to come back from this. Life may look a little bit different, but it's going to be okay.
It's going to be all right. Yep. Thank you. Thanks again, Hannah. This has been fantastic.
Yeah. Awesome. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.